connection successful. Let's go. How you doing? How you doing, everybody? I'm James with the Hat and Beard Show. It, of course, is a Monday, June 22nd in the Big 2-6. Now, I know it sounds like we are in the absolute middle of nothing off-season slog, but the NFL has released some information for us on when training camps are going to kick off. And guys, weird. If you really think about it, a few weeks away from the start of training camp, which then means preseason, which then means football is really just a hop, skip, and a jump away, you guys. Tonight, we'll be discussing a little bit of Mike Mayock talking about how the NFL Network prioritized name recognition over knowledge of draft coverage. And if you've been here for any extent, any amount of time, you'll know that this isn't just a reflection of the NFL, commentary space, but a reflection of the majority of commentary spaces writ large in the social media aspect, as well as you could probably extrapolate this onto your workplace. Well, we'll see what Mike Mayock has to say over here. Mike Florio has an article for us, and we're going to shift and head over to CBS Sports, see NFL training camp report dates, joint practices, and top storylines for all NFL 30 teams. I think we're only worried about one tonight, guys. I don't feel like thumbing our nose at 31 other teams when we're here to talk about the Detroit Lions, guys. We got 9 winners from the Lions OTAs and mini camps, picking out the 9 biggest winners from Detroit Lions OTAs and mandatory mini camps over at Pride of Detroit. Jeremy Reisman has a nice little article here for us, you guys. It's I'm going to be honest, it's nothing really too exciting, nothing we haven't really already talked about before, but off-season will do, but it's some hype to get around. And then A to Z Sports, the Slipper, has for us 3 Lions players who broke out in 2025 and whether those breakouts were real heading into the Big 2-6. Again, perused it. Gonna be honest with you here, Slipper. Kind of reaching on one of them. Breakout? There's a difference between being a breakout and being on the field by matter of necessity. But we will talk about all of that. We will take your chats. We will see what's going on, you guys. It's Monday night. Our nightly NFL show continues to trudge onward. Of course, the Hat and Beard Show, we have a little bit of a bastion of sanity and a sea of nonsense, and that's called Mad Hatter Nation, and that's all of you guys who are subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell, turn the share button, hit the share button, share this link around with all of your friends, dude. Like the video. It's the best way to help us grow. We're trying to get ourselves up over that 1,000 subscriber mark, dude. We're so close to the 900. We're so close to the 900, and the best way to do it is by you guys doing some heavy lifting on your end. So, things and stuff and things. Now that we've done all that, I appreciate each and every one of you over at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. We're going to hand it off to my guy, Jocko, and we're going to get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
All right, Mike Mayock, NFL Network prioritized name recognition over knowledge for draft coverage. You don't say. Are we surprised by that at all? Before Mike Mayock became the GM of the Raiders, he had served for years as one of the NFL Network's primary voices in and around the NFL draft. Mayock recently shared past frustrations regarding the manner in which NFL Network staffed other aspects of its draft coverage. Quote, I think there are too many guys that just get used to, because they were such good players, having people give them things, Mayock said on Ross Tucker Football Podcast via Sam Newman of awful announcing. I'm going to sneeze. Son of a bitch. Quote, and it was one of my real sore points at NFL Network. It used to drive me crazy when they'd bring in a guy for the draft that was a big-name guy that was going to talk about his position and couldn't tell me 3 names in the draft. And I would be like, what are we doing? What's important here? And the producers and all the people would be like, he brings credibility. And I'd be like, what about Daniel Jeremiah, Charles Davis, and me doing all the grinding of the tape? Isn't that all the credibility we need? And the answer was pretty much, no. No. Nope. Shut the fuck up. Hey, oh, you, no. We want that guy. No. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he knows what he's doing or not. You see, the aesthetic brings an air of credibility, regardless if they're correct or not, right? It's, think of how often these guys really hit on their draft prospects. It's not an uncommon approach. Some networks prioritize names over knowledge, sizzling over substance. They believe that having played the game for however long or short of a career leads to a perception of inherent expertise that supersedes years, if not decades, of study. Why does it happen? There are several reasons for it. One is the bar for educating a broad audience is low. Don't I know that? If the information that is conveyed in basic, digestible sound bites can be communicated by someone with a bigger name, that's better for the network. I'm going to be honest, you guys, Mad Hatter Nation, you guys are kind of the exception to this rule. I'm going to be honest, though. People don't want to hear actual analytics. They don't want to hear data. They want to see a name that they recognize tell them something that feels good and makes them feel comfortable. Could someone else who didn't play know more? Sure. But there's usually isn't enough real estate for the audience to listen to a big name player and conclude this guy is clueless. Right? Because if you played the game, you're automatically crowned expert. Expert status recognized. Well, who's your 4th offensive tackle in this draft class? Excuse me, what? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. What is an offensive tackle? Could you use it in a sentence? Nation of origin, please. You see what I'm saying, dude? Basically, the guys who made it on the field can usually fake it till they make it with a microphone. And the presence of a big name also makes it easier to fulfill the overriding goal of leveraging those big names into bigger advertising revenues. Oh, shit. Follow the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money, me boy. It's all about the money. I like money. Money, 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 money. It's all about the money. How many tampon ads can you jam into the NFL Network's primetime coverage? Well, I can sell a lot more tampon ads if I got Warren Sapp, Keyshawn Johnson, and, Maurice Jones-Drew than if I have Steve, Phil, and Bill. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if Steve, Phil, and Bill have been actually correct on 92% of their predictions. They have data and evidence to back up why X, Y, and Z is going to happen, and typically they're right. I don't care. Phil, Bill, and Lil and Phil, or whatever, Tommy, Chucky, and Phil, whatever, they don't have the name recognition as the big names. But the big names are going to talk in these overarching big just vanilla statements, dude. It's why you guys come to channels like this. It's why you come to the internet to watch people talk about this stuff, because you're tired of getting just vanilla ice cream, soft serve vanilla ice cream served up to you in a styrofoam cup. That's what you're getting from NFL Network and ESPN, right? Oh, now you want a little sprinkle on that, little sprinkle. Maybe you're feeling froggy and you want yourself a twisted cone, a little chocolate, a little vanilla, huh? A little vanilla. Maybe you're like, you know what, dude? I got a waffle cone, huh? Hey, let's go. Hit that like button if you're with me. Knock on wood if you're with me, fellas. Let's go. Let's talk about NFL training camp report dates. Joint practices. They have to practice with their joints. And top storylines for all 32 NFL teams. If only Josh Gordon would have practiced with his joints more, maybe he would have had a historic career. But ifs and buts were... Ifs and the buts was all candies and the nuts. We don't have a Christmas. Hit that like button, guys. For all the excitement of free agency and the NFL draft, and all the tea leaf reading of OTAs, training camp is when things really get real. There are roster battles, depth chart battles, and starting job battles. My fucking ear itches, good lord. There will be a plenty of roster churn as teams evaluate themselves and outside options. Oh, but don't forget all of these soft tissue injuries that are bound to come. What's your guys over under NFL-wide? Training camp week 1, official underway. All 32 teams are underway. What do you got? You got 4. I'm saying 4 to 6 players go on season-ending injury within the first week of training camp. And all of the speculation and projection that we've put on all of these teams gets turned tits up, and next thing you know, Giggle Williams is missing the whole season. There will be feel-good stories about unlikely players making the roster, and there will be surprising cuts. Tempers will flare, and some joint practices will be far more important than actual preseason games. Yes, you got to practice with those joints. Below is every team's training camp schedule, the joint practice schedule. Joint practices are often the most revealing part of camp. And finally, every team's top training camp storyline as the season nears. What do we have here? What could it be? Don't care. Let me get down to the Detroit Lions at the Meyer Performance Center in Allen Park, Michigan. The rookies, well, July 25th. Guys, it's June 22nd. It's so close. So close. No matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Can't wait. And then, of course, the veterans will report for the Lions on July 28th. So it's right there. It's right there, guys. Just make sure that you're locked in. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, right? That's the only way that we're really going to get through it, is if you're subscribed to the channel, got that notification bell turned on so you know that when we go live Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m., we got the news. Hey, I got cheeseburgers, dude. I got them cheeseburgers, dog. Let's go. Let's get down here and find our Detroit Lions, huh? Team only in those Detroit Lions. Number 1 storyline, according to CBSSports.com. For the Detroit Lions, it would be the offensive line shuffle in front of Jared Goff. JG16 for MVP, 26 touchdowns in the Big 2-6, 5,200 passing yards. Knock on wood if you're with me, men. 52 touchdowns. That's what it was, 52 touchdowns. This was a tight call between offensive line and the health of safeties Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Ultimately, the offensive line got the nod. All-pro right tackle Penei Sewell switching to the left side after Diddy Decker's departure. And first-round pick Balake Miller is taking over at right tackle. Oh? Pray tell! Do you know something we don't know? Because by all news and information available to the Lions fandom, it appears to be an open competition between Larry Borum and the Balake Miller. A little bit of switching of the split of the reps there, huh? But the CBS Sports planting their flag, saying Balake Miller is taking over at right tackle. Hey, yo, I'm not mad at it. Cade Mays is the new center and should add major size and power there, though this will be his first full season as a full-time starter. Guards Mormon Oaks, Christian Mahogany, and Tater Ratledge must step up. Don't worry. You are worrying far too much, my friend. My friend, you need not worry about the right side of the offensive line. All you need to worry about is how good Christian Mahogany is going to play next to Penei Sewell. Not the floor. I only want to know ceilings on Christian Mahogany. Let's go, you guys. So that's CBS Sports talking Detroit Lions. I know we're kind of flying through it, guys, but it's we are going to be kind of moving along here as it is the offseason. There is some reality to the whole situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean, Vern? You know what I'm saying? Knock on wood if you're with me, Vern. You know what I mean, guys? How we doing, Mad Hatter Nation, before we dive into the Detroit Lions? How you guys doing this morning? Yeah, Mom, you got a soccer ball. I got a soccer ball, too. I seen that. Hooray, hooray for us being a soccer YouTube channel. Look at us go. 4.5 long weeks. Yeah, dude, I'm working on practice joint right now. Rick, work on one of those for me, too, buddy. You don't have to remind me of that birthday. It's just 2 days. You don't have to remind me that my birthday. Hey, Rick. So what? Wednesday's your birthday? All right, dude. I'll try and remember that. Give you a little shoutery do on the show, dude. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. How many days is that, Brandy? Yeah, dude. Brandy's our statistician. She'd have them all locked in. Let's get 2 weeks of training camp at Pat's. Yeah, raw. I was reading that, dude, and I was thinking of you. Like, yeah, we can only get so hype around OTAs. It's a glorified NFL combine. It's underwear Olympics for the teams. Yeah, you can get some ideas to what's going on and what, like, the idea is going to be, but at the same time, dude, you don't know shit until the pads come on. You really don't know shit until you get into game speed, dude, which is why, like that article said, those joint practices going to be very impactful. Preseason, guys, as Lions fans, longtime Lions fans, we know how important the preseason is for seeing what we got, right? It used to be a time when the preseason was what we were seeing who's going to be our starters, dude. You know what I'm saying? Now, at least now, hey, look at us, huh? We're kind of just moving right into into training camp and preseason. Yeah, pretty much the starters are kind of locked in, dude. Let's be real. A lot of these starters are kind of pegged, right? We got them pretty much locked, stocked, and 2 smoking barrels, dude. We're looking at these depth position battles, which, again, and I continue to talk about it all offseason, dude. Brad Holmes has done a really good job of upgrading the depth that we have. Almost to the point where you think he's got a little PTSD over the last 2 seasons. You know what I'm saying? All right, so if you haven't already, hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Turn that notification bell on. Share this around. Hit that share button. Copy that link down on your clipboard. It's the easiest way. It counts as a share. The algorithm loves it. It satiates the algorithm. The clankers love it. When you hit that share button, dude, they absolutely love it. And if you're not, into that, dude, just open up your window and shout out, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You need to subscribe to the Hat and Beard Show. You know what I'm saying? I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You need to subscribe to the Hat and Beard Show, guys. Constantly, I'm like, we'll get there. I'll eventually get to the point where we can, things will be better. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Subscribe to the Hat and Beard Show. 9 winners from the Detroit Lions OTAs and minicamps. Picking out the 9 biggest wieners and Detroit Lions OTAs and mandatory minicamps. Who's the biggest wieners? Before we get into my list of the biggest wieners from Detroit Lions OTAs and minicamps, let's make one thing clear. Jobs are not won in the spring. Practices are very low-key, and coaches are using most of the time to start installing the playbook and getting their players up to speed mentally. At the same time, damn, dinner smells... Whew. Hat and Boobs is crushing it with dinner downstairs right now. It smells so good. At the same time, our first look at the 2026 Detroit Lions also allows us to see where the depth chart initially stands heading into training camp. And have talked with just about every coach on the staff over the past month. We also have some initial impressions to work with. So with that in mind, here are the biggest 9 wieners from the spring program. Number 1, tight end Miles Kistelman. With Laporta limited to walkthroughs and veteran Tyler Conklin missing the last couple of weeks of practice, it was interesting to see what the undrafted rookie Miles Kistelman getting some time with the first and second team offense. Kitselman received, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, received a modest $115,000 guaranteed in his UDFA contract. So he's by no means a lock to make the roster. But amongst very young depth, Kistelman appeared to be the early standout. Isaac Tesla, all the early indications of a year 2 jump for Tesla are there. He's been the uncontested third receiver alongside St. Brown and JMO. The coaches have really praised just how comfortable he looks. Quote, he is just ready. He's steady. He is consistent for a young guy. He doesn't get frazzled. Good. Well, let's see if he can. What I want to know is when Tesla gets out there, game speed, is he going to get frazzled when you match him up with Miss Frizzle? Is the Frizzle going to frazzle him? I mean, this is a compliment, what he's done out there in the spring, phase 2 OTAs and all of that. It has just been there's been nothing like flashy about it. And that's a good thing. Let's go, you guys. Let's go. Juice Scruggs. Now, you guys, I kind of, I wasn't like, oh, shit, yeah, that's a great. But when we got Juice Scruggs in the David Montgomery trade, I was like, not only did juice the deal a little bit, but he brings a viability and flexibility along the interior offensive line. So those 3 spots in the middle that the Lions specifically like to have. I constantly reference, Graham Glasgow prior to him taking over for Frank Ragnow at the center spot. He was your backup center and rotationary guard. And that's what the Lions like, dude. They like to have that tweener type build. When Montgomery trade went down, I admittedly looked at Scruggs as a throw-in piece. Well, I didn't. While he had 20 games of starting experience, I figured he'd be a bubble player who would have to really prove himself to land a spot on the 53. Now, I have him just inside of a lock. Why? Well, because he's consistently been the backup center during all of the spring. He's also been repping at the other 2 interior offensive line spots, including some brief time with the starters at left guard. On top of that, apparently the Lions front office made it clear they really wanted him as part of the Montgomery trade. Quote, he really wants me here, Scruggs told Detroit Football Network regarding Brad Holmes. He likes my game, so it's just like a relief, like a fresh start. Yes, I think Brad Holmes had said that we were fascinated with Juice Scruggs in the draft process, and you guys know that we've talked about it a lot. Sometimes, dude, players just need a change of scenery. Sometimes they just need a little kick in the ass from a different coaching staff, right? And maybe the Lions are exactly what Juice Scruggs needed to unlock his full potential. Maybe he does come in and push as Christian Mahogany. Maybe week 1, Juice Scruggs is your starting left guard. You never know. It could possibly happen. Tyler Lacey. We've talked a lot about Tyler Lacey, guys. I'm not going to get too much into it. Peyton Turner. Turner came to Detroit with a ton of questions about him. A former first-round pick. He's seen his career fizzle out largely due to injury. Well, the Miss Frizzle frazzled and fizzled him right out. He's got a tough road to the roster with DJ Wanham and Derek Moore added this offseason. But to Turner's credit, he got significant time with the starters this spring. Good on him, including during some of their pass rush sub-packages. Maybe that's was to get him caught up on the defense, but I'm still higher on him now than I was at the start of camp. Good on you. Jimmy Rolder, full transparency. I was kind of skeptical of this draft pick after diving into the initial film of his 1 year as a starter at Michigan. But Rolder made a few really nice plays in the spring, and several coaches have praised his intelligence and ability to pick up the defense quickly. Quote, I've seen tremendous growth from him, primarily from just like the understanding of football. NFL football concepts, primarily coaches, Lions linebackers coach Sean Dion Hamilton said, quote, to play linebacker and safety in the system, especially where we have taken it now, it takes a lot. Ooh, where we've taken it now. Hey, all right. It takes mental capacity, and he has it, defensive coordinator Calvin Shepard said. Good on that. Malcolm Rodriguez, what do we got about Rodrigo? Rodriguez has had a fairly quiet spring in terms of playmaking, but right now he appears to be the unquestioned third starting linebacker alongside Derek Barnes and action Jack Campbell. Even with Rolder impressing, I don't know if they'd consider unseating Rodriguez this early in the rookie's career. Plus, Rodriguez already looks a lot more like himself after his late season return from an ACL injury in 2025. Quote, Malcolm's in a great spot, man, Hamilton said. I've had an ACL myself. It's always that first year. It's kind of like, but now he's moving around. He feels great. I think that also I was telling Shep, it's great that he got a full season to be in Shep's defense rather than AG Aaron Glenn's, with some of the changes and stuff like that? Well, yes, because, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Aaron Glenn's defenses were trash, dude. They were just not good. They were just not good defenses. Roger McCreary, the Lions are looking to play more nickel in the Big 2-6, and all signs point to that meaning more Roger McCreary. For nearly 100% of the first-team nickel reps in the spring, it was McCreary in the lineup. He both made some plays and had some plays made against him. He was often up against Amon-Ra St. Brown, to be fair. But unless the Lions plan on shifting Avonte Maddox or Christian Eisen into the slot, I think the job is likely McCreary's to lose. Obviously, rookie Keith Abney will have a crack at it, but he seemed firmly with the reserves in the spring. Okay, well, maybe don't want to overload him too much, right? On top of the Lions clearly view McCreary as a schematic fit given his man coverage background. Quote, his strong suit is playing man, and that's what we need. Defensive backs coach Deshae Townsend said, he's given us another competitive piece that's inside, and he can also play outside because that's what he was drafted to do at Tennessee. He's a capable veteran that's going to push the entire room. And finally, safety Chuck Clark. I feel like we've been talking about Chuck Clark quite a bit this offseason, guys. I think Chuck Clark was a very exactly the same kind of signing that we've been doing all offseason, both with the signings and the draft picks. Not flashy, not sexy. He's a solid burger, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I don't need the best you got, dude. I don't need prime cut right now, dude. But I don't want garbage. I don't want to eat raccoon meat. It's lousy with a parasite. But I'll take me a good solid burger. Little Chuck Clark burger. Not many players have been hyped more than Clark this offseason. He's clearly already established himself as a leader in the safety room that could be missing its two starters at the beginning of the season. Clark's expert communication skills should not only help add some stability to a room in flux, but he'll also be a good resource to young players like Eisen, Thomas Harper, Dan Jackson, and Lawrence Strickland. Lawrence Strickland, okay. All that being said, Clark is 31 years old. Oh, damn. What was he? Did he ride his dinosaur to training camp? Is his playbook chiseled out on fucking stone, dude? My God. And Shepard was clear that while he's showing off all the intangibles right now, he'll need to improve. He still needs to improve the movement skills to make it on the field. When it comes to athletic ability, can he still do certain things? That is still yet to be seen in training camp. That will allow us those 4 to 5 week periods to see what he is capable of doing, Shepard said. But from everything I have seen so far, this is the player I saw on tape previous to his career. Let's go, dude. I like that Chuck Clark signing. Chuck Clark, Roger McCreary, I liked it. Same way I liked the Avonte Maddox signing last year, guys. Nice, solid, credible, viable options outside of your starters. Come on now. It's hard. You got to love having some depth. How would you feel about that, Mad Hatter Nation? I need to get my kids a new set of Juice Scruggs. He's a sippy cup spiller. Hell yeah. Happy Father's Day, Americans. Hell yeah, Sam. That's what's up, dude. It was Father's Day weekend. It was funny to see the contrast in church attendance between Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's like, oh, shit. Yeah. There were not a whole hell of a lot of people there comparative to Mother's Day, but, whatever. All right, I had to hit the old oil can, get a wet my whistle. Hey, guys, don't forget there is a poll up in the chat. Oh, wow. Oh, you guys are making a guy feel special, dude. More hype after OTAs. Got you 3 options here. Option A, the O-line revamp. Option B, D-line getting some new tools. Or option C, with 64% of the vote, hat and beard at night. Let's go, you guys. I appreciate that, dude. Make sure you get your votes in while the poll's up. It'll be up till the end of the show. I appreciate that, fellas. Making me feel all... You like me. You really, really like me. All right, let's go ahead and finish tonight off strong. Little A to Z Sports. Let's see what the Slippers got for us over here at A to Z Sports. 3 Lions players who broke out. Yes, they broke out in 2025. And whether those breakouts were real heading into the Big 2-6. Detroit may have found one long-term answer, one mystery, and one player still trying to prove it. We revisited these 3 2025 breakouts to see which one looks sustainable entering camp. Yeah, I'll give you this. One long-term answer, one mystery, and one player still trying to prove it. Yeah. Yeah, real quick. Hey, can you guys, you got 3 names? Huh? Anybody? At the very least, Brad raised the floor of the defense. The ceiling is still to be determined. Yeah, that's a very accurate take, Rick C. That's a very accurate take, my guy. At the very least, the floor of the defense has been raised. The ceiling has yet to be the limit, or yet to be determined. And that's kind of what I've been saying, y'all. There are 3 distinct avenues for the future of the Detroit Lions defense under the tutelage of Calvin Shepard. Either Calvin Shepard exactly middles, but the offense does enough that we are a contending team, and we don't worry about the defense. And Calvin Shepard is here next year as the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions in his 3rd year. The defense takes a Hodorian-sized step backwards, and things go completely off the rails with the defense, in which case, Calvin Shepard, I'm sorry, bud, bon voyage. Or what's probably going to have happen is we're going to have a top 10 defense. We're going to win Super Bowl, have a top 10 defense, and Calvin Shepard will be the top name on all of the short lists to be the next head coach of a struggling organization. Not for nothing. Do you think the Jets would replace Aaron Glenn with Calvin Shepard? Oh, love watching the world travel here and are blown away with America. The World Cup in America is bonding humanity. That's true, Sam. That's true, dude. It is nice to see Europeans talk all that shit about America and then come over here and be like, oh, I gets it now. You know what I'm saying? And you see the video of Branch Joseph after practice last week. It looked like Kirby was limping, favoring left leg. Hopefully seen it wrong, though. I'm hoping you seen it wrong, too, Jack. Maybe he was, maybe he's just fucking around. I don't. Maybe he's mocking Brian Branch. I don't know. Man. Let's hope not, dude. You guys know me. I'm a big Kirby Joseph fan, dude. It's big Kirby Joseph fan, dude. That's my guy, dude. That's my guy. He's one of the most important, if not the most important player in the Detroit Lions organization, based on the amount of takeaways he's had over his career, the amount of attempts in the Detroit Lions offense, a high-octane offense, gets to pad out their stats, overinflate the points of production because we're getting so many takeaways. Dude, Kirby Joseph, hey, Kirby Joseph is at a point in his career where he either gets it right and his leg is fine and we don't worry about it and he finishes his career like Ed Reed, or Kirby Joseph becomes the next Bob Sanders, a Hall of Fame caliber player that injuries just derailed him. You know what I'm saying? Kirby could be a captain. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. You know who I used to like at safety back in the day? I was a big fan. You guys remember Louis Delmas? I was a big fan of Louis Delmas, dude. I liked Louis Delmas. That dude was like a guided missile, bro. And he was out of Western, bro. You know? Big fan of him. I was a big fan of Tony Scheffler, dude. He was also a Western Michigan guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you guys, what do you think for names? You got 3 names for me who broke out in 25, and if they're going to break out, what are you thinking? Do you think it could be some defensive backs or some linemen or something like that? You know, some of the guys who had production last year offensively are no longer here, right? You know, Monty's not a candidate, and Khalif's not a candidate, right? I guess you could say maybe, no one really else. You know, everyone else is kind of there. The breakout's already to be expected. So over here, let's talk here. One of them, I was like, yeah, let's go. Look at what we got flying through the air. Nick Whiteside. The Detroit Lions are less than 100 days from the 2026 season. Training camp opens in about 6 weeks. That means it's time to separate what was real from 2025 and what wasn't. ESPN's Ben Slowak wrote a piece earlier this week examining breakout and fall-off players across the NFL and whether those labels held up. That got me thinking about which Lions players earned their breakout tags and which ones might have just had a moment. Let's break it down with 3 guys who stood out in Detroit's last season. Number 1, Nick Whiteside. The breakout probably wasn't real. Whiteside was one of the guys signed from the UFL last summer. He had performed well in the UFL and was originally thought to be nothing more than a camp body. He played well enough during the offseason that it was a genuine shock when he got cut at the end of training camp. Detroit signed him back later, and he got his opportunity to start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or the Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers, when the secondary fell apart. Let's get this ad out of here. It's driving me nuts. Go away. All the cornerbacks got hurt. All the safeties got hurt. The Lions needed somebody on the field, and Whiteside delivered a strong game that had everyone asking about this hidden gem in the group fans were calling the Legion of Whom. Here's the thing, though. Beyond that 40-snap performance against Tampa, we didn't see much. Whiteside played only 5 more games after that and logged just 11 snaps the rest of the season. The Lions didn't trust him enough to keep giving him reps. I don't think that Detroit views him as a starter or a true breakout candidate, but they might see him as a practice squad contributor. There's still some possibility for Whiteside, and we'll see what that brings, but I don't believe the breakout was real. I don't think so either. As much as I'd really like to see it, because you guys know I'm a big fan of those UFL guys scrapping and crawling and just they're clawing with their fingernails for that inch. But there's a reason why you had to go that route. There's a reason why the Lions didn't trust you. Do I think he has the skills to compete in the NFL for a cusp/practice squad spot? Yes. Do I think stashing a guy like a Nick Whiteside on the practice squad in case of fire break glass is a viable direction to go, as opposed to pulling some 32-year-old washed-up dude off the street? Yes. Do I feel comfortable week 1 rolling out Nick Whiteside opposite DJ Reed as your number 2 corner? No, I do not feel comfortable with that. Number 2, oh yeah, you guys know me on the dude. I'm telling you, Thomas Harper is a good safety. The breakout was absolutely real. Harper was cut by the Raiders after training camp and claimed by the Lions off the waiver wire. Still just 25 years old. He wound up starting 9 games for Detroit and played at a high level. His 77.8 PFF grade ranked 10th among all safeties in the league. His coverage grade of 75.9 was 11th. In the absence of Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, this guy stepped in and produced. I absolutely believe the breakout was real, and I do too. In his limited time with Las Vegas in 24, he played well, and you could see during the 25 preseason that he had gotten better. I don't know why the Raiders cut him. Because the Raiders are going to Raider. They probably shouldn't have. That was a mistake on their part. Yep. Oh well. Sucks to be you, nerd. What makes Harper so valuable is the insurance he provides. If Joseph starts to trend downward, Harper is the guy who could trend upward and take that starting spot. If Joseph isn't ready at the beginning of the year, I think Harper is the starter. Same thing if Branch isn't cleared and ready to go. Harper starts there for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, but make no mistake, the breakout was real. I agree. I think Thomas Harper played out of his mind outside of a few. Look, every guy is going to have a few lowlights to their highlights. But all in all, top 10, top 12 safety by PFF, dude. The numbers don't lie, bro. The stats. Miles Frazier. Hey, guys, did you guys know Miles Frazier had a breakout year last year? Too early to tell. I don't know if you necessarily call this a breakout. Frazier missed training camp with an injury and then showed up later in the season playing 46 total snaps for the Lions. He looked fine. He looked like a guy who would miss training camp and a bunch of practices. With more time and more reps, he could be a better player. The game against the Cowboys was where he got his biggest workload, playing 26 snaps. He looked like a guy playing his first NFL game ever because he was playing his first NFL game ever. A lot of fans wanted to see him replace old Mormon Oaks, Christian Mahogany, and get more reps, but that didn't happen. I think there's a possibility Frazier can win the left guard job this summer, but I wouldn't set that in stone. Mahogany can absolutely win it back. Ben Barch, with his 1 foot, has a chance to hop in there and has a real shot too. I put Frazier right in the middle. I don't know if the breakout is real or not. That's one we're going to have to keep an eye on this summer to find out. Yeah, no. It's Mahogany's job. I think Miles Frazier has a very uphill fight ahead of him at that left guard spot. I think Mahogany is probably going to win it. And, yeah, Ben Barch is a contender. Juice Scruggs is going to come in there and start nipping at heels, dude. Nick Whiteside, nah. But again, a nice little stash player. That whole iron sharpens iron, dude. I like having a high-quality player on the practice squad. A nice scout team, dude. You got to have good players over there to give good looks, dude. And Thomas Harper. Yeah, dude's going to be fucking wild, bro. I absolutely loved that signing that we were able to pick up. How do we feel about that, Mad Hatter Nation? We got a couple minutes here. What's up, Derek? How you doing, man? Is Jack considered a breakout last season? If so, he's my answer 3 times. 100%, dude. 100%, bro, for sure. Rock Yassin played great last year, and he's another one of those guys like Avonte Maddox, where it's just like he's gonna put on his hard hat and his gloves and his safety glasses, and he's just gonna come in. He's just gonna produce for you. It ain't gonna be sexy. It ain't gonna be over the top. He's just gonna do work. Do work, son. Do work. Miles Frazier broke out. Yeah, Derek, exactly. I was like, but to be fair, I mean, I did dog him a little bit, but the slipper did say one player's still trying to prove it, and he did say right there, about Frazier. He was very open about that. I don't think it's your what do you say? I don't know if you necessarily call this a breakout, so I'll give him that. But what the headline? You're gonna say breakout players, and you're gonna throw Miles Frazier at me? I'm listening, caller. Now, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs. Ha ha! But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Pa, pa, ta. Good night, everybody! Let's go, dude. Little Miles Frazier for you. Little Dr. Frazier. Dr. Miles Frazier, you guys. All right, let's go, y'all. Tim 20-man's top camp performance so far is Chuck Clark, safety. Never heard of him. Well, Chuck Clark played quite a while down in Baltimore, dude. High pedigree, a lot of starting experience, dude. Again, that underwhelming, but or not underwhelming, but not overwhelming. Just a very whelming signing by Brad Holmes. In line with Avonte Maddox last year, Rock Yassin last year. We followed that up with Chuck Clark and Roger McCreary. I do think Keith Abney is a sneaky little stash play that we made. Maybe Abney's role isn't this year. Maybe it's all about growth and development this year. But the viability that he brings at the level that he brings already, and the ceiling that he has moving forward over the next couple of years, I think Abney is sneaky stash. I think our secondary did get a little bit better, dude. Well, boys and girls, I know we're running a little bit short, and that ROI is not going to be nearly as high. Shout out Trippy Gypsy, going to hold me accountable for that. We'll refund you guys eventually. It's not like we haven't gone long before in the past. Going to be a little bit short, but it is the off season, and I got to save some ammunition for the rest of the week, right? We got, what's up, Riley? Hope everyone's has a good evening. Dude, I hope you're having a good evening, brother. I appreciate you dropping by, man. Unfortunately, it's the end of the show, dude. We are cutting it a little short tonight, but dude, there's just not a lot to talk about, dude, and not for nothing, there's going to come a point where we're going to be so busy that we're not going to be able to get all the news and notes out, dude. Like, you think about it, dude. You think about it. Come the regular season, the time slot that we're in right now, dude, Mondays and Thursdays, bro, we are going to be straight up nut to butt trying to get pregame and news and notes and Lions coverage. You know what I'm saying, dude? So come the regular season, dude, Mondays and Thursdays, we are going to be just like assholes and elbows trying to get everything done. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, ever caught that Miles and Frazier, dude? You like that, dude? You like that, bro? I've been wondering if anyone is ever going to catch the Dr. Fraziers that we got, Miles and Frazier, dude. Literally Miles and Frazier, like... The nighttime is the right time. Okay. I don't know, man. Something about the beast comes out and the sun's too bright and it hurts his eyes, and he's, man, what is it? There's a girl I want to bang there, dude. Well, do you think she has a friend for me? Yeah, dude, she's totally got a friend, dude. I don't know, man. Maybe she's got a friend. Just go. Shout out Brent. Brent Supreme hitting me with the old, what the hell happened to me, Adam Sandler, yo. Okay. I love it. I love it. All right, gentlemen. Gentlemen, knock on wood. Hey, speaking of gentlemen, I was going to say, gentlemen, start your engines. Did any of you guys catch the race yesterday? And if you did, was that not just like cool as shit? So it was, first of all, they did a race. It was out in San Diego, and it was a road course, which road courses are wildly different to watch. But dude, they did it on on the Navy base, dude. It was fucking wild, dude. It was wild. Can he move men like a crane? Hey, man, let's hope he can, dude. Don't piss me off getting a suntan now. Hell yeah, dude. Man, the sun's too bright and it hurts his eyes, man. You got to have a goofy little hair. I wanted a free haircut, man. Oh, man. Well... yeah, so anyway, the race yesterday was kind of cool. It was a cool little race. Pennington Sasquatch. Dude, that's a sick name, bro. San Diego has a ton of dildos per capita. Dude, that's true, especially if you were to then like stretch that out over all of California, dude. Now, there are some cool people in California, like our guy Derek, dude. He's kind of an exemption. My buddy Marcus, he's cool. But there's just a lot. I think per capita, I think California only might be rivaled by dildos by like New York or possibly, one of those fucking weird countries in the EU, dude. But the amount of just like dildos per capita in California, bro, it's just insane, dude. Haven't caught a race at Daytona. Well, man, dude, they're fun, dude. They're fun. Appreciate you dropping by, Pennington Sasquatch. I like that name, dude. That's funny. That's funny, dude. I'm trying to understand. Is your picture like, are those like piano keys or something, dude? I don't know, man. I don't know. Appreciate you though, bro, dropping by. DC has a lot of them. Yeah, Jack. You're right, dude. I always forget it. DC's got them really like well ensconced, like grounded strap-ons, bro. DC's just fucked. F-U-C-T, fucked. Gentlemen, have a good rest of your evening. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Until tomorrow, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring that notification bell, share this around with all your friends. I've been James with the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. Until tomorrow, bonga bonga, brig off.